पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामे नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे हे कृष्ण करुण सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय So I'm here in New Jersey. I'm in the porch of my in-laws. Maybe you hear the rain dropping on top. So today I'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 89, text 52. And I'll just pull up the verse. Just give me 1 second. Yes. ततः प्रविष्ट सलिलं नभस्वता कालीयसैजद्बृहद् ऊर्मिभूषणम् तत्राद्भुतं वैभवनं द्युमत्तमं भ्रजन्मणिस्तम्भसहस्रशोभितम्. From that region, they entered a body of water resplendent with huge waves being churned by a mighty wind. Within that ocean, Arjuna saw an amazing palace, more radiant than anything he'd ever seen before. Its beauty was enhanced by thousands of ornamental pillars, bedecked with brilliant gems. So, anyone remembers from what region they entered? What we heard about last week? Anyone? So, they entered from the region of the Brahma Jyoti that was described in the last verse, how Krishna and Arjuna crossed out, crossed through all the um, layers covering the universe, and then they entered into the Brahma Jyoti, the supreme effulgence of the Lord. So now going through that region and passing that region, they come into this large body of water. So this water is described as the causal ocean, also called the Karanarnava Ocean, and it's also called the Viraja River. It's a body of water which it's described as unlimited and unfathomable, and it's Chinmayi Jal. The Chaitanya Charitamrita said this water is purely spiritual. It surrounds Vaikuntha, the Paravyoma, the entire spiritual sky. And since the spiritual sky is unlimited, this water is also unlimited. And this water demarks the separation between the material world and the spiritual world. So, and it's called Karanarnava, the causal ocean. Anyone knows why it's called the causal ocean?
Karnadakshayi Vishnu sleeps.
Yes, yes. And and then why is it called the causal ocean? Because of that?
Because all the ingredients of the universe comes out of that.
That's not actually described as such. It's said that actually the material nature, Maya, the material energy actually cannot touch those waters. These waters are purely spiritual. Actually, when we just had the appearance of Vamana Dev, so it said that Vamana, with his second step, he covered all the higher planetary systems, and his foot pierced the layers of the universe. And then one drop of that ocean came into the universe, and that became the Ganga. So that is actually the water from the causal ocean. But because Mahavishnu lies there in that water, uh, and he's the cause of all the universes, that's why, in that sense, it's called the causal ocean, as Krishnadaya Prabhu said. So we'll read the next verse. So there's a beautiful palace in that ocean, and now we'll hear more about the palace and what is described as a beautiful scene of Ananta Shesha Naga, the serpent carrier of Vishnu, the serpent bed of Vishnu, and Mahavishnu himself. So the next few verses gives us a beautiful meditation on those forms of the Lord. Text 53. Tasmin mahabhogam anantam adbhutam sahasramurdhanya parnamani jubihi vibhrajamanam dvigunekshanolbanam sita chalabham shitikantajivam. In that palace was the huge, awe-inspiring serpent Ananta Shesha. He shone brilliantly with the radiance emanating from the gems on his thousands of hoods and reflecting from twice as many fearsome eyes. He resembled white Mount Kailas, and his necks and tongues were dark blue. So this 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 expansion of the Lord described as a Mahabhogam, a huge, a massive serpent, and his name is Anantam. He's Anantam, he's unlimited. Adbhutam, he's amazing. And he is Vibhrajamanam, he's effulgent. How is he effulgent? By the jubihi, by the rays emanating from the money, from the gems, which are fixed, which are upon his thousands of hoods, thousands of heads. And those heads are described as having dviguna ikshana. So there's thousands of heads, and each of those heads has two eyes. That's why dviguna ikshana, ulbanam. And these are frightening eyes. The eyes of a serpent are quite frightening. So they are sometimes described as blazing. And his countenance, his bodily color is white, shita, sita, like the Mount Kailas. Mount Kailas here in this material world is way up north, and it's covered by snow. So that's why it's very white. And but his necks, so the front part of his body, like the front part of his hoods, are very pure and white, but then his back part, that is described as his neck part, is described as shitty, dark blue, and his tongues are also like that. So his tongues are going out. So it's called Ananta Shesha. So anyone knows what Ananta is continuously doing from his thousands of mouths?
He's glorifying the Lord.
Yes, he's glorifying the Lord continuously since eternal time. He's beyond time. Forever, in all eternity, he's glorifying the Lord. And did he find the end? No, he never found the Shesha, the end. So he's with his unlimited mouths, he's chanting the unlimited qualities and pastimes of the Lord. That's one of the reasons why he's called Ananta. He has not found the end of the pastimes of the Lord. He did not come to the Shesha, the end of the pastimes of the Lord. And this is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And therefore it's said that if one wants to glorify the Lord, one must take shelter of Lord Ananta Shesha. So when we speak the Bhagavatam, we can sometimes meditate on Ananta Shesha, or whenever we have to glorify the Lord in some way or another. In the Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur, the author, he first takes shelter of Lord Balarama, of Ananta Shesha. And this Ananta Shesha is an expansion of Lord Balarama ultimately. And so yeah, he's starting his glorification of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, but then he first takes shelter of Lord Ananta. He says in his mouths are the storehouse, or the treasure house of the glories of the Lord. And taking shelter of him, I may also be empowered to glorify the Lord. So we find a beautiful description here. He's also described as Adhara Shaktim, as one who carries the Adhara Shakti of the Lord. Ananta Shesha is none other than the Lord himself. He's also Vishnu Tattva. So it's his own form. And Lord Mahavishnu, will hear in the next verses, is reclining, is resting, is relaxing on that form. But it is his own form, and that form is described as Adhara Shaktim, the supporting, who carries the supporting energy, Adhara Shaktim. So he supports Mahavishnu, and he supports on his hoods all the universes. It's described. All the different universes are kept on his hoods. Or when he further expands in this material universe, then all the planets are supported by him. So that's why he's the supportive energy of the Lord. And that's why whenever Srila Prabhupada would construct temples, then first there's a ceremony. Our Pradyumna Prabhu was probably part of that. A hole was dug in the ground, and within that hole was placed the form of Lord Anantashesha. Was installed the form of Anantashesha on that temple as well. So he's the supportive energy of the Lord. So now we'll hear very beautiful description of Lord Mahavishnu. Dadarsh tadbhog sukhasanam vibhum mahanubhavam purushottamottamam Sandrambudabham Shupishangavasasam Prasannavaktam Duchirayatekshanam Mahamani Vrata Kirita Kundala Prabha Parikshipta Sahasra Kuntalam Pralambacharvashta Bhujam Sakaustubham Shri Vatsa Lakshmam Vanamalaya Sunandananda Pramukhai Swaparshadaish Chakradhibhir Murti Dharya Nijayudai Pushcha Shriya Kircha Jaya Kilardhibhir Nishevyamanam Parameshtinam Patim. Arjuna then saw the omnipresent and omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahavishnu, sitting at ease on the serpent bed. His bluish complexion was the color of a dense rain cloud. He wore a beautiful yellow garment. His face looked charming. His broad eyes were most attractive, and he had 8 long, handsome arms. His profuse locks of hair were bathed on all sides in the brilliance reflected from the clusters of precious jewels decorating his crown and earrings. He wore the Kaustuba gem, the mark of Srivatsa, and a garland of forest flowers. Serving the topmost of all lords were his personal attendants, headed by Sunanda and Nanda. His chakra and other weapons in their personified forms. His concert potencies Pushti, Shri, Kirti, and Aja, and all his various mystic powers. Purport. Srila Prabhupada mentions, Srila Prabhupada mentions this in the Krishna book, the summary study, the 10th canto, that the Lord has innumerable energies, and they were also standing there personified. The most important among them were as follows: Pushti, the energy of nourishment; Shri, the energy of beauty; Kirti, the energy of reputation; and Aja, the energy of material creation. All these energies are invested in the administrators of the material world, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu, and in the kings of the heavenly planets, Indra, Chandra, Varuna, and the sun god. In other words, all these demigods, being empowered by the Lord with certain energies, engage in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, beautiful description here of the Mahavishnu. These are the Srimad Bhagavatam describes the name, fame, forms, pastimes, qualities of the Lord. So here we find a beautiful dhyana, a meditation on the Lord's form of Mahavishnu. In great detail. Would be nice to actually go over it once again and look at all the details there, but for the sake of time, we won't do that. So Mahavishnu, it's such an interesting description because, you know, sometimes you may go into a store, like a big multinational store, and you're just in the store and you see employees, there's products there, you can buy this and that, But behind this store, if you go far, 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 often far away from that store, there's someone in a house, usually a big estate, a rich person who is ultimately the head of that store, but you don't see that head. It's very hard to see that head, that the owner, the like a big multinational company will be, let's say Walmart, you go into Walmart. Now the Walmart family, or let's say the head of that family, will be somewhere very, very far away from the store you're probably visiting, and it's very unlikely you'll ever see that person. So like that, Mahavishnu is the head of the material world. He's the owner, the ultimate source, from whom everything has come, and to whom everything will return in the end of annihilation. So he's the boss. So far away he's situated at that causal ocean in this beautiful palace. And sometimes we think of Mahavishnu as lying on the causal ocean and in the middle of the waves, and uh, but here we find him situated in a palace, in a radiant palace, situated on Ananta Shesha, surrounded by his associates. Anyone remember some of the associates surrounding Lord Mahavishnu?
Nanda, Sunanda.
Preeti.
Yeah, Nanda, Sunanda, these are his intimate servitors, associates. Who else is there?
Shri.
Yeah, Shri, Lakshmi, and different other energies, which are feminine, are his consorts, like Pushti and Kirti and Aja, the original form of the material energy, Maya. And who else is there?
Shiva,
Who?
Lord Shiva.
It's not described here.
No.
Ramajyoti.
It's described that all his weapons are there in their personified forms. His chakra, his gada, his club, uh, and he has other weapons actually. He has a bow, his sword. It's described as having 8 arms. So he's having different weapons. Mainly we know the chakra and the gada, but there's other weapons as well. So they all have personified forms. His conch shell also has a personified form. So they're all standing there. They're all divine personalities. See, Sudarshan chakra is also worshipped. There's many ceremonies on this worshipping Sudarshan chakra as a personified deity as well. So they all have their personified form. So it's a great opulent display there. And of course, Arjuna is seeing this and he's in great awe. And Krishna just took him to this, and to the very source of the whole entire material creation of all the material universes. Such a powerful, opulent form of the Lord, such a majestic form of the Lord, grand form of the Lord, situated on this giant, giant serpent. You can only imagine what kind of sight this must have been. We can see it through the Bhagavatam. That's the great blessing of the Bhagavatam. You may remember. I remember the days thinking, what's behind all of this world? Is there a God behind this? And how does this God look? What is he like? So we find this, you read the Bible, you read other scriptures, which are more known to us in the West, and we read about this, supreme being, but we don't understand. We don't get the information, what he's like, what his form is. So here we find this, it's revealed to us. We can see through the eyes of the Bhagavatam. So there's many descriptions. The last few minutes, I want to focus on some descriptions of this amazing form of the Lord, Mahavishnu. So we hear from this about this form in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Brahma Samhita. So the Brahma Samhita describes Yakaranarnavajale bhajati sma yoga nidrammananta jagadanda saromakupa adara shaktamavalamvya param samurtim govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So lying on this Karanarnava jale, on the water of the causal ocean, he enjoys yoga nidram, the mystic slumber, mystic sleep. And in his hair holes on his body, there are Ananta Jagadanda. There are unlimited universes emanating from there. So, and he's reclining on Adara Shaktim Param Samurtim, on this Ananta Shesh, who is his own form and who possesses the supportive potency. Yashaika nivasita kala matavalambya jivantaloma vilaja jagarandanataha Vishnur Mahansa iha yasya kala vishesha govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Lord Brahma prays, I worship Govinda, Krishna, the original person, who expands, whose expansion, whose of whom a particular expansion, Kalavishesha, is this Mahavishnu. And this Mahavishnu is so great that at the time it takes for one breath in and out, one outward breath, one inward breath, that time all the lords of the material universes live. Jagat Andanata Jivanti. The lords of all the universes live during the duration of that one breath of Mahavishnu, for many, many, many billions of years. And the creation, maintenance, and finally ultimate destruction of the universe takes place in that one breath of Mahavishnu. And that Mahavishnu is one part, one expansion of Lord Krishna. So he's also described in Chaitanya Charitamrita as Maya Bharta, as the Lord of Maya. He's actually the original Paramatma form. Mostly when we speak about Paramatma, we speak about the Lord in the heart, but the Paramatma is a much broader concept, actually. When we speak about the Lord has different features, Brahman, which is effulgence, Paramatma, and then Bhagavan. So Bhagavan is the Lord manifest with his internal energy in the spiritual sky, and where he enjoys his pastimes with his eternal associates in Ayodhya, in Dwaraka, in Mathura, in Vrindavan, and in all the Vaikuntha worlds. So that is Bhagavan. He's manifest with his internal energy. But Paramatma is the Lord who manifests the material energy. He manifests all the universes as Mahavishnu. He's described as the Lord of the Mahatattva. He's the Lord of the entire material energy. So he's the Paramatma of the entire material energy. Then he glances over the material energy called Maya, and he impregnates her with all living beings. And then all the universes take place, the creation of all the universes take place. And these are described as andas, as eggs. So there's actually only a small empty portion in the universe, but there's huge layers of material elements, which Arjuna and Krishna just crossed, as described earlier in the chapter. And then he enters each of those universes and fills them half with water. And then that water is called the Garbhodaka ocean, and then he lies down on that water. And his expansion is Garbhodaka Shaya Vishnu. So in this way, Mahavishnu is the Paramatma, the supreme soul of all the universes, and he enters each of those universes is Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, lies down there again on Anantashesh. And in this way, he becomes the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul of the entire universe.
That's right.
I hear some voices. Anyone saying anything? I couldn't hear. Somebody needs to mute. Yeah, so he lies down in the universe and he becomes the Paramatma of each individual universe. And then creation takes place. Brahma comes from his lotus growing from his navel. All the worlds are created. All living beings are created. And so further, he expands as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu in the material universe. He manifests another Vaikuntha planet. And there he lies down in the ocean of milk, Shvetadvi. So that Kshirodakashaya Vishnu expands in the heart of each and every living being. So in this way, he becomes the Paramatma of each and every individual soul. So in this way, Paramatma has three features. Paramatma really means the Lord of the material energy. So Mahavishnu is the original Paramatma, the Lord of the entire material energy. And then Garbhodakashaya Vishnu is first expansion. That is further expansion. He's the Paramatma of each and every individual universe, and then he becomes the Paramatma of each and every living being, as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. So in these three Vishnus forms, they're called the Purusha incarnations. He controls the entire material world. And the entire material world is completely under the shelter of these Purusha incarnations. So Mahavishnu is the first of these Purushas. That's why in that verse we read, verse 54, we just read, he's described as Purusha Uttama Uttama. Purusha Uttama Uttama. He is the Purusha Uttama, means the supreme person, and he's the supreme among the supreme persons. So he is the original supreme person in the material world. But this Mahavishnu is the expansion of Lord Krishna. He's also the original avatar. So he's the original Lord of the material creation, and all avatars means the forms of the Lord who descend from the spiritual sky into this material world, they all come through him. So the Srimad Bhagavatam describes especially in the third chapter of the first canto, it's a beautiful chapter, describing so many of the incarnations of the Lord. And the first incarnation described there is this form of Mahavishnu. So describe Jagrihe Paurisham Rupam Bhagavan Maharadibihi Sambutam Shodashakalam Ado Lokas Shikshaya. So in the beginning, to create the material world, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took this Paurisham Rupam, this form of the Purusha, the original Purusha, and he created the world with all the material elements. So this is Mahavishnu. But it's described that the Bhagavan took this form. And in all the incarnations further described, they appear through or from this Mahavishnu in the material world. And after that whole description, it says, Eta Chamsha Kala Pungsaha. All these Eta Chamsha Kala, all these different incarnations, all these expansions, Pungsa, of this Purusha, of the Supreme Person, of Mahavishnu. All these incarnations are expansions of him. Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna was also mentioned as one of the incarnations, but then Sutta Goswami says Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. But Krishna is Bhagavan himself. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. He's not an expansion of this Mahavishnu. He is himself the Supreme Lord. And as Brahma says that in this Brahma Samhita that Mahavishnu is one of the expansions of the Lord. Or as described in this first canto, Bhagavan, he accepted this form. The Supreme Lord accepted this form of the Purusha for the creation of the material world. Why? To facilitate all of us. We want bhoga, we want to enjoy material creation. So the Lord, as Mahavishnu and the other Purusha incarnations, he facilitates that. And he also gives us the facility in the material world to again return to him. So we have a very intimate relationship with Lord Mahavishnu in that sense, that we come from him. We come from his body at the beginning of creation, and at annihilation after many billions of years, we again return to him, only to be created again in the next cycle of creation. So we've been there so many times in his body. It's an amazing thing. So we are actually very closely connected with this Mahavishnu. And so we should take advantage of this opportunity given by him, this material creation, to serve him and to go back to God. So thank you so much. Any questions or comments?
Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu. It must be very easy to live life knowing the grand scheme of things. Everything is just so insignificant. And you were describing those subjects like it was so easy to understand and digest. I've heard it so many times, but if you ask me to repeat, I won't be able to. But when you were describing, everything was making perfect sense. Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu, for zooming all the way out of our pond.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see Adipurusha Prabhu is beaming with the desire to glorify the Lord, followed by Min. Go ahead, Adipurusha Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Extraordinary. You've brought us beyond the material world and so perfectly and clearly described something that we can't even imagine. And then, of course, grappling with this description, how do we respond to it? What should be our? How does it apply to our life? This extraordinary description of a gigantic serpent with glaring hoods, with all these wonderful features of the Lord and His realm and His associates. What are we supposed to do after hearing all this?
Well, I'm going to say something which I find very important. The application of this, what we've heard, is hearing it itself. Just hearing about the Lord. Nowadays, we always need to apply everything, right? What's the application? What's the application? Because we live kind of in a self-help time where everything has to be like practical and knowledge has to be practical. But the Bhagavatam is beyond just that. The Bhagavatam is giving us the descriptions of the name, form, qualities, pastimes of the Lord. It helps us to think about him. By hearing about him, we absorb our minds in him. And that itself is the application. Because when we hear about the Lord, when we absorb our minds in him, then we become Krishna conscious. That is Krishna consciousness, to absorb our minds in hearing, in remembering the qualities, pastimes, name, fame, form of the Lord. And by doing so, we start to remember, oh yes, he's the Lord and I'm his eternal part. And I'm not God. I'm not the center of this world. Someone else is. We can't see, I can't observe. Far away, yet near to all. And that's how it's described in the Upanishads. He's very far away, way beyond all the layers of the universe there, far away in the causal ocean, but he's very near. He's in our own hearts, trying to help us, trying to guide us in this world with the aim to take us back, to guide us back to him eventually. He's waiting for us. We're the bird eating the fruits, bitter, sweet, and in between. And the other bird is just watching us, waiting for us to turn to him. So by hearing about the Lord, just hearing about the Lord, his grandeur, his form, his name, we again start to see the other bird. We start to become cognizant that there is a God. We become awakened to that. And there's no other way we can ever do that without beyond hearing the Bhagavatam from in the lineage of the cyclic succession. So the hearing itself is the application. And the result is that we become Krishna conscious. We understand there is a God and I'm part of him. And he's waiting for me. I have to turn to him.
Adipurusha Prabhu looks deeply satisfied.
Doesn't know. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Vasudeva, so once we realize how great Krishna is, isn't the conclusion devotional service?
Yes, surrender to him.
Svagata Krishna, that the heart becomes purified, the Lord cleanses the desire for material enjoyment, and then we begin to engage in another quality of activity. When we say we're the servant, then isn't it natural that we serve? And
yes, exactly.
try to please him. There's a description of St. Christopher. He was a very big man, and then he was thinking, well, people praise me because I have a big body and I have strength, but isn't there somebody greater than me? So he began to serve the mayor of the little village. And then he saw that the mayor was going to serve the governor of the state. So then he said, well, I should serve the governor. Then he saw the governor was going to worship and respect and please the emperor. So he went to please the emperor. And then the emperor was coming across a place where there was a demon. And the emperor was afraid of the demon. So he began to serve the demon. But then he saw that the demon was afraid of the priest and the church, and so he began to realize that God is greater than all these other people. But so he was looking for who was above him, and then he became drawn to serving up and up and up to the point of serving the Lord. So here comes the Lord right now. He's going to blow the conch shell. Glories to Prabhupada.
Adipurusha Prabhu. Thank you, Vasudev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Wonderful class as always. So good to hear from you.
What a sweet conch shell. Every day different people blow the conch shell, and it's every day it's different, right? Amazing. Okay, so we have to go. Is there anyone from the temple that has some equipment? You have equipment to do the dasa? Jai Radha Murali. Krishna. Good morning. Good morning, Hare Krishna. Okay, how are you? What's your name?
Ronnie. Ronnie.
What is it?
Ronnie.
I can't hear you.
Ronnie.
Okay, well, welcome. I have to go, I'm sorry.
He's okay.
I'm going to the Zoom class. I have to go to the...
Okay, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Afterglow. Min, do you still have your question? I don't think Vasudev is here, but we have Bhima, we have Anupam,
Um, I think it was
Krishna Kumar.
actually answered by him. I had a very, very childish question. Like,
What is it?
when we are hearing about well, imagining this image in my head, I've always, and it was just so amazing that he sort of explained it. He told it in such a wondrous way. I never really had a chance before to feel affection towards Mahavishnu, actually. And I was thinking about just the size of him. I've always in my mind pictured him so immensely, inconceivably big that, I mean, we see the image of him, but scale-wise, I just, it's kind of unimaginable how big he is. And we're hearing that Arjuna is standing before him and seeing this scene, this beautiful, wondrous scene. And I was thinking, did Mahavishnu like shrink down so that Arjuna can see him with his eyes? Not because if it's so big, from whose body entire universes are born. How is it that Arjuna could actually see his body with his eyes before him? So, I think my mind was trying to just grapple with like a literal image of who he is before Arjuna. But I think that maybe that is the mystery of God and the grandeur of God, where I don't have to really understand it literally. So I wasn't going to ask him question. How is Arjuna seeing Mahavishnu? He's so big.
Great question. Bhima Prabhu?
Yeah, he took a couple steps backwards. So that's what you got to do. You take a couple steps backwards, get out of your head and step back, and then you'll see Vishnu. You can do it right now.
That's great.
Just shut your mind down. Take a couple steps backward. Consider the world. Consider the universe. Consider all the variety. Consider all the drama. Consider life and death. Consider the great swing of goodness and ignorance and passion back and forth, and you're in it. So all you have to do is couple steps back out of it, overlook it, and you will see Vishnu there laying, breathing, and with a smile on his face. That's what I heard that you're supposed to do. Hare Krishna.
I wanted to say something as well. Yeah, today is the appearance of the Bhagavatam. Of course, if we look at the cover of the first Bhagavatam, we have this beautiful picture, and the same picture is in 26 Second Avenue of Vishnu and the planets. It's just so inspiring. As a new devotee, in the early 90s, I was visiting with Bhakti Tirtha Swami at his institute in DC, and he took us on this journey. I don't know, it was in Virginia or Maryland. I was trying to look it up. He took us on a trip, like a little outing, and we went to this temple that wasn't ISKCON. So, I was like, oh, but it was this huge Vishnu, bigger than my living room. I mean, it was this golden Vishnu with Lakshmi Didi, and he took us there and we chanted, and it was so powerful. It was just like, it was powerful because of us there. And I feel like that was the experience some of you all had today, like being brought to Lord Vishnu. Like I really have so much gratitude for Bhakti Tirtha Swami for not boxing us in so much, but actually, I guess what Bhima's saying is like stepping back and seeing how vast Krishna consciousness is. It's not limited.
Min, have you ever been to the Grand Canyon?
I haven't. I have
Okay.
not.
So what happens when you go to the Grand Canyon is you're coming over plains, basically a lot of forest fires up there. So you're coming across flat plains, and then all of a sudden you come to the edge of the canyon. And what happens is your breath is taken away because it's so unbelievable. It just comes out of nowhere. And it's the breadth and the width and the length is beyond our purview in one standing, you know, and it's very deep. So what happens is the whole body goes, you know, you just breathe in because it's vast and it's awe-inspiring, and it's a power beyond ourselves that created this canyon over millennia. So these are the same sort of like awe and reverence if one just considers the awesomeness and of Krishna or Vishnu. Let's say Vishnu. Then if you just allow the awesomeness of Krishna to hit you like the Grand Canyon, then you will have. So this is what I hear. Okay, this is only conjecture in regards to relating it to the Grand Canyon. I'm sure it's much more than that. But it is that sort of like if you open yourself up to wonder, like when you were a kid, about the universe and how it goes on and what's behind it, et cetera, et cetera. That type of wonder allows you to develop the ajna of awe and reverence in order to at least see with your heart's eyes or see with your soul's eyes, which is different than our eyes, which are very limited, but you see it with the eyes that are within your chest, that are within your heart. And then you are given a vision, like Sanjaya, who saw the Kurukshetra war. He was able to have a vision, an internal vision, a revelation of what was going on the battlefield, and was able to portray it. So these great writers, these acharyas who have written of these of Mahavishnu and these various pastimes that go on that include Mahavishnu or the awe and reverence, they, in order to become privy to that knowledge, they had to get to a place of great awe and reverence. And then, therefore, the majesty and the awesomeness of Vishnu was revealed to them. So, no, you don't see Vishnu with your eyes, you see Vishnu with your heart. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for that, Bima. You know, when I became an American citizen, I bought myself a large book of national parks of America because I was going to make a point to visit every single one of them. I haven't been there yet, but I've been to a few other national parks. I just wanted to see the beauty of this land. And it's funny you bring this up because when I was trying to imagine this person and go beyond the literal, and like my heart, it was akin to like what I experienced when I see just amazing ocean and lands where they come together, where it's so majestic, your breath is taken away, and it feels like you can't contain it in your little body of what this effect, what you're seeing. And you know, it often makes me just cry when I'm there. And so when I was trying to imagine Mahavishnu, I felt a little bit of a similar thing where I just felt my little body, mind just not being able to contain it, and just how mysterious and wondrous that is. And I kind of like that maybe for now, just perceiving
Yeah,
Vishnu that way.
think about it. Whole religions cannot contain Krishna, Vishnu. Whole religions cannot contain. The closest is the Vedas, but they always say, you know, we could have a countless Ananta Sheshas, and we will never get through describing the awesomeness of Vishnu. And so whole religions cannot contain the height and breadth and depth of Vishnu. So what to speak of our little minds, our little understandings? We can't even begin to understand. That's why it's so great being in Krishna consciousness that allows us to understand Krishna as a cowherd boy or as the son of Mother Yashoda. That's actually easier to grasp than that great chasm between us little tiny jiva dust specks and that great, wondrous, beautiful, powerful aspect of Vishnu. It's really wonderful. We never run out of things to be excited about in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Vishnu is so big, he's so wonderful. He's bigger than Grand Canyon, he's bigger than Krishna Kumari's living room. We have things to relate to.
Hare Krishna? Hare Krishna? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Adi.
Yeah. There's a pastime of Saint Ignatius. He was walking on the beach, and there was this little kid there playing with a conch shell and a puddle of water. And he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And the little kid said, "I'm going to put the ocean in this conch shell." And Saint Ignatius said, "Well, that's ridiculous. You're never going to fit the ocean in that little conch shell." And then the little kid said, "Similarly, you cannot fit God into your tiny brain." And then the little child disappeared like an angel. So he realized that there's some things that you can't take in, but Krishna can reveal himself to us. And when Arjuna was on the battlefield, he asked to see this universal form. And Krishna manifested as thousands of faces and consuming all the worlds and, all these different visions of his powerfulness and his immense. And Arjuna said, wait, take this away. Oh, no, wait. I just want to see your two-armed form. I want to see your human-like form. I can't relate to this universal, gigantic, awesome. So Prabhupada says sometimes, there's God in the office and then God at home. This is an official capacity as God, as the Lord, as the judge, as the creator, as the But then there's, besides the all-powerful, all-knowing, then there's Krishna, which, one newspaper guy said, "Boy, these Hare Krishnas talk about God like you could invite him to lunch." I mean, they have this. So that's another feature of the Lord. And different people see Krishna in different ways. When he entered the arena, the wrestling arena, the yogi saw him as the absolute truth. And the Mother Jasoda saw him as my child. And the gopis saw him like the boys next door. And Kamsa saw him as death. So Krishna appears in different ways. But the interesting thing about the Vedas is, besides all these awesome descriptions of his, fantastic, unfathomable, powerful feature, there's also the feature that he reveals to us when we want to relate to him personally, not just in cold awe and reverence, but in affection and service. And maybe that's another way of responding to this description. Does that help, Min?
Yeah, it's so great. I love how Krishna, and it's like no other divinity that I've come to know or learn about, how he's just so flexible in terms of how he could really enter us, and just so variegated and yeah, thank you. It's such a grace that we have so many different qualities and personalities of Krishna that we could encounter.
Aspects, different features of the Lord. He's playing and wrestling with the cowherd boys. He's kissing gopis on the lips in the moonlight on the bank of the river. He's he's killing the demons. And so we're hearing about the awesome features of the Lord, and also the...
Okay, ho, 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 ho.
You asked me to stop talking?
No, a horse is out of control. Sorry.
Oh, control, sorry. Anyway, this is interesting how Krishna can reveal himself to us. Just like Prabhupada gives the analogy, we can't see the sun before dawn. We may point a flashlight or a candle to the east, but when the sun comes up, it reveals itself. So we can't actually find Krishna, but he can show, he says, he reveals himself. He reserves the prerogative not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone. But when we serve him with love, then he appears to us like that. I really want to see you, Lord.
I have another shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm sure it would be approved. And that is, Krishna didn't say this, of course, but it makes perfect sense. Of flexibility, as Min said, it's so wonderful that Krishna is so flexible. Krishna says, of flexibility, I am grace. Think about that. Think about how far Krishna has to bend over to pick us up. When he is who he is, and we are who we are, there's a big distance that he covers. We always think, if I chant my 64 rounds, like 16 rounds, if I purify, if I renounce, if me, if mine, instead of like, if Krishna would just come and grab me by the sika or my long curly locks and rip me out of this illusion that I'm in. And he does, of course. But of flexibility, I am grace, meaning he reaches, he goes, Adi brought back knowledge, wisdom of Guan Yin is a Buddhist female, actually,
The goddess, mercy.
the goddess, of mercy. And so she, when being taken back, becoming liberated, heard the tears of the suffering souls in this world. She turned back and reached for them. And upon reaching, she, of course, at that time only had two hands. But because her yearning was so strong to reach out to the suffering souls, she grew countless millions of hands to reach out, sort of that grace. So she's sort of like the personification, or is this personification of Buddha or Krishna's grace, that ability to be flexible enough to reach back for others. And I think that's what Prabhupada wanted all the devotees to do. No matter what level you're on, you can always give a little prasad. You are reaching out. You are reaching out to give grace to souls like ourselves. Hare Krishna.
Bhima, when I was seeking before I came to Krishna consciousness and knew about Krishna, when I was seeking, that she's the one who came first, actually. I learned about her, and I was so really immersed in her mercy and how she was just so kind and feeling everyone's suffering. So I have a tiny, tiny, tiny statue of her at home on my.
So by the grace of Adi Purush, I also do. I visited Adi. He goes, I have something for you, and he gave me a deity of Guanyin, and I was like, who's this? Is this their Saraswati in Asian form? And no, he told me the whole story, and I thought it's so endearing. Like everybody's got a chance.
Yeah.
She came to you. I didn't give her. She came to you. She's a person. She has a choice. It's not ordinary that when a deity comes in. That deity was actually given to us by Vasudev.
Unbelievable. A line of discipline succession handed down.
Rendela, Kuan Yin is trying to help the conditioned soul. And then when she sees that some people, they come and then they go away, or they're not even interested, she starts to cry. And the seventh tier, Kuan Yin is Grindala. So that's that deity you have is an expansion of Kuan Yin, Grindala. The Tibetan is really present. I'm sure you're experiencing that.
Thank you, Adipusha Prabhu and Bhima Prabhu and Men and everyone on this call. Adipusha Prabhu, if you grow 4 hands or 6 hands, you should play 2 guitars and 3 guitars and reach out to more people and distribute more prasadam.
I'll try. We have to show other people how to do it.
Yeah, every time Adi gets a new person, and trust me, they happen on the daily, on the weekly at least. There's somebody new coming into the movement via Prasadam distribution, via Das, via 21st Street, via 8th Avenue. There's always somebody new coming in, and that is precisely each one of those new people is a hand of Adi, Gwendolyn, Das.
And each of those hands grow other hands out of them. It's pretty far out. Yeah. Okay. Anandi, Hare Krishna, are you there, Anandi? Are you picturing all this? Mahavishnu, Kuan Yin's tears, reaching out to Bhima's farm. Anandi, Hare Krishna.
Rob had his hand up earlier.
Who? Who's that?
Rob.
Sarah Prabhu, check 1, check 2. Where are you?
Haribol, everyone. I'm trying to do this thing where I talk less and listen more. You guys were, everything, all of you said is so powerful. And so, Haribol, I was just gonna say, I've seen this Mahavishnu photo picture so many times and pictured it in my mind, etc. But in my phone, I probably have thousands of photos. That is the only one that I actually is of Krishna or Vishnu. That is the only photo I have, and I've the way it was described by Vasudev Prabhu was amazing. It was so powerful. I was just like in awe, and then everything else you guys added too, just super powerful. And then I was also thinking, Adi Borsh in the temple, doing so much seva, and Vasudev Prabhu, and I'm every time I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything. Like look at these amazing individuals serving the deity day in and day out, and I'm just like, okay, I need to do a little more. But I wanted to add that, but Vasudev Prabhu is probably hearing it, but he's because I see him and everyone else that's serving in the temple. Anyhow, those are my humble words for the day. But thank you all. What you guys said was all powerful, and the Grand Canyon, yes. It's amazing in the sense where I was a lot younger when I went, but I wouldn't even get out of the car because it's so vast. I remember being scared to get out at the edge. So, and then to think that Vishnu is like thousands and millions and times greater. So yeah, pretty powerful. Thank you guys. Haribol.
Thank you very much, Sarah Prabhu. Hearing about devotional service inspires us to do devotional service. You captured that perfectly. We have a question in the chat. Ananda Bihari Prabhu, can you please tell me in which month do you change timetable of the Bhagavatam class? One is in the summertime and again in the fall winter time, just so I don't miss it. Thank you, Neha. We will keep you posted. Are you part of the WhatsApp group? If the time changes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes? Yeah, we'll keep you posted there. I'm not going to change anything without
Thank you.
letting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, Anandi, did you figure out how to unmute yourself? Yeah. Ram, are you upset that Anandi can't unmute herself? Let's call Anandi. We see some movement there.
We got any first? We got any first words from Rama yet?
He's gibberish just now. Most Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. Simultaneously one and different. There he is, the cutest kid in the land. Holy smokes.
As soon as you start speaking gibberish, he started paying attention.
Ram. Right? That's what I thought too. We'll keep it between us.
That's Bhima Prabhu's glorification of Lord Vishnu.
Haribol, it's Saurabh.
Saurabh, Hare Krishna.
I think, hi, Hare Krishna. Devaki Preeti, I think, Didi had a question about being added in a group. If we could
Okay,
address
I'm
her
putting the
question.
link. Yeah, put in the link in the chat, Devaki Priti. I'm gonna put the link in the chat. Anand,
She said she's not sure if she's in the group, Prabhu.
I'll put the link in the chat. Anandi, let's glorify Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bol.
That was super sweet, Anandi. Thank you so much. I'm gonna need some time. Let me put the link in the chat. Ram.
You know, his cry is so big. I think Vishnu.
Okay, copy link. Okay, here comes the link. Please join the group. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We love you, we need you. Come again tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam is unlimited. It never ends. Like Lord Vishnu's grace and wonder. I remember
There's
when I
more
was a
produce.
kid. Yeah, more produce.
There's more produce coming in. My son is bringing it down to the kitchen. For anybody who's near the kitchen today.
Today. Ram, you heard it? Okay.
You got it, Ram? Your favorite, tomatoes, carrots, peas, lettuce. We grind it up into a mush.
Coming to New York?
Yeah, Luke is coming down to New York. He can't do the farmer's market because it's raining. So he thought, I got to get all this produce he picked. He's got to have a place for it, and this is where you guys come in.
Okay, give us a call. Let us know when he's coming so we can open the kitchen.
Yeah, I will. He's going to come down, deliver to the kitchen. I think there's enough to give to Bhakti Center as well. But don't give any to Ananda Bihari unless Ram is there. And then just put it in the blender and make it a mush so only Ram can eat it, but not Ananda Bihari.
Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Yeah. Okay, say the devotees well.
Rama loves Adi Purusha's pasta.
Oh yeah. He ate the whole thing the other day. Thank you very much. Okay, Hare Krishna. Happy Sunday.